Good evening, everyone. Good evening, Jai Hind. I hope I am properly audible and visible to all of you. Good evening. So, I guess I am properly audible and visible to all of you. Yes. Okay. So in the last session, we were talking about this one topic of glacier lake outburst flood. We have also seen about the Chola dynasty. We have talked about this one editorial, which was with respect to the special intensive revision going on in case of Bihar. And we have seen other related topics also. So we have seen these topics in the last session. Now in today's session, the topics which we are going to discuss, one part is going to be about the clogged justice or the justice on halt due to clogging in judiciary. So this is one part which is related to polity. This is one topic which we are going to discuss. Second topic, which is again going to be part of human geography or geography section, it is flood prone areas and slum. So it is a urbanization issue. This is one such urbanization and population issue which we are going to discuss in today's session. Okay. So this is one part. The third thing which we are going to talk about is a special public security bill. This is a bill of Maharashtra, but we are going to talk about this a little bit. Although it's not very much important, but through this, we will get some input about this, the things which are going on. Okay. So here again, we will talk about this related to polity only. Then we have this one thing from science and tech section, the Nisar satellite, which is going to be launched tomorrow. And then one miscellaneous topic, which is about the demography. So these are the topics which we are going to discuss in today's session. Now, before we discuss it, let us solve some questions. Okay. So this was the question in prelims 2025. Who among the following led a successful military campaign against the kingdom of Sri Vijay, the powerful maritime state which ruled the Malay Peninsula, Sumatra, Java, and neighboring islands? So, I think now you can answer this quite easily. And there is one simple thing, like if you look at the options, the way they have given this option, normally, even if you have read it before the prelims, you know about one thing, that Chola Empire, they have built very superior, they were very much superior in terms of naval power. And they have control over the portions of Sri Lanka, Java, Sumatra, and all other things. So before the prelims also, I think you were all aware about this one topic, that it is going to be Rajendra Chola, okay, from the Chola dynasty. Now, the second question, consider the following rivers, Mandovi, Juari, and Tapi. How many of the rivers mentioned above passes through Goa? So, how many of them are passing through Goa? Mandovi, Juari, and Tapi. How many of them are passing through Goa? So Goa is generally known for its beaches, but rivers are also present there. We have seen last day about the Mahadevi river dispute also, that it originates in Karnataka and it passes through portions of Goa also, and somewhat tributaries are also there in case of Maharashtra. So here we look at this, Mandovi and Juari pass through it, Tapi is not passing through this. So answer is option number B. How many of the following may trigger a glacial lake outburst flood in Himalayas? Global warming and melting of glaciers, landslides, snow avalanches, and volcanic eruption. So this is question number 3. How many of the following may trigger a glacial lake outburst flood in Himalayas? Global warming and melting of glaciers, landslides, avalanches, and volcanic eruption. Okay, B option, C option. C option. Which one is not part of it? Which one is not going to be there? Okay. So you know that in the case of Himalayas, we are not having volcanic eruption. This is not possible, not there in Himalayas. Okay. So this volcanic eruption is not possible in Himalayas. Okay. So that's why what we see that this option is incorrect. Rest all these three things are possible. So answer here is going to be option number C. So Himalaya is not going to be Himalaya is not going to have volcanic eruption. It's a continent collision. It is a collision between the Indian plate and the Eurasian plate. Both are continental plates. So volcanic eruption is not going to cause this problem in case of Himalayas. So here the answer is option number C. Okay. So the topics which we are going to discuss in today's session. The topics which we are going to start with today is the clogging of justice or the delayed justice in case of India. The last day also, like in this week also, I have been asking you that how many cases are pending. So now we have some actual figure. Okay. The number of pending cases across courts in crore. Okay. In case of Supreme Court, what we see that around 0.007 crore. It means approximately 70 lakh cases. Approximately, 70,000 cases are pending there in Supreme Court. Okay. Then what we see that in the case of high courts, it is 0.4 and plus 0.6. It means near about 60 lakh cases. 60 lakh cases which are pending in high court. Which are pending in high court. Then what we see that in case of district and subordinate courts, the number rises up to 4.6 crore cases. Okay. 4.6 crore cases, which is there in case of this lower judiciary. Lower judiciary. So if we add this, it becomes around 5.2 crore cases. Approximately now, we have 5.2 crore cases which are pending in the judiciary. 4.6 crore cases are pending at the lower level, at the level of the district. Then around 0.6 crore. 0.6 crore means it is 60 lakh. So around 60 lakh cases are pending there in case of, like in this case of our high court. And around 70,000 cases are pending. Around 70,000 cases are pending in case of Supreme Court. Okay. So this is one part, okay, that these many cases are pending across the country. These many cases are pending across the country. Now see another part. Okay. What we see that, like what is the average time which is taken by the courts to resolve the cases? Okay. What is the average time? Like Supreme Court is able to solve. Okay. If we talk about this, what we see that there is around 67.7% of cases, they are solved within 1 year. When we are talking about the Supreme Court. When we are talking about the Supreme Court, what we see that around 67.7% cases, they are solved within 1 year. Around 19.6% cases, the criminal cases, that is taking around 1 to 5 years. This is for the criminal cases. Sorry, civil cases. And at the same time, around 12.7 crore cases, 12.7% cases are taking more than 5 years. So in case of civil matter, what we see that Supreme Court is able to solve 67.7% of cases within 1 year. If we compare it with the High Court, the figures come down. This figure comes down to 64.4. And when we talk about the lower judiciary, it comes down to 38.7. Lower court. Here it is High Court. So we see that in the cases of district courts, around 20% cases are taking more than 5 years. Around 40% cases are taking 1 to 5 years. And around 38% cases are solved within 1 year. This is the civil side case. There are criminal cases. In that, what we see that in Supreme Court, the number is as high as 80%. 80% cases are solved within 1 year. In case of High Court, this number is 85%. And in case of District Court, this number is around 70%. That 70% cases are solved within 1 year. Then what we see that 20% cases, around 20% cases, they are taking more than 1 to 5 years, around 1 to 5 years. And around 10% cases, are taking more than 5 years. In criminal cases, in Supreme Court also you can see, around 7% cases are taking, around 7.3% cases are taking more than 5 years. 13.2 taking 1 to 5 years. So if you see this side, of the story, so what you get here, that the performance of the judiciary is not that much bad. If you see this side of the story, criminal cases have to be solved immediately. Now what we see that in case of High Court, it is 85% cases, they are solved within 1 year. This is being solved within 1 year, 85% of cases. In case of Supreme Court also it is 80%. And even at the stage of lower judiciary, it is 70%. So 70% cases are minimum being solved within 1 year. Now when it comes to some other cases, what we see that around 20% cases are taking a time of 1 to 5 years. And less than 10% of cases are 5 years or older than 5 years. So this is denoting one story, okay, that if we estimate this one thing, that these many cases are pending, it means it has not been pending for a long period of time. Perhaps the problem is that we have lesser number of courts or lesser number of judges. Because if they are able to solve 70% cases within 1 year at lower court, 85% of criminal cases within 1 year, and 80% within Supreme Court also. So that is a considerably good amount, that within 1 year cases are getting solved, like minimum 70%. So if we are seeing that per year we are having like 5 crore cases pending. So out of that 5 crore cases, around 4 crore cases or 3.4 crore cases, 3.5 crore cases, they are getting solved. It is the new cases which are being filed year after year. We find that new cases are coming year after year. So that is also one part of the story. Civil cases are time taking. Civil cases are time taking because there is a lot of paperwork and other things which has to be done. Okay. Criminal cases are based on the investigation, on the basis of all other things. Civil cases, most of the time it is related to like property dispute and many other things. So this one is taking time. Civil cases takes generally some amount of time. But the criminal cases which requires the criminal cases are the one which requires immediate justice. The criminal cases require immediate justice. And in that you see that the performance is on the better side. Okay. So this is one part. So what we see that it is not just about the efficiency of the courts. So this is one part. Second part, if we look at this, the percentage of vacant post of judges across court as per latest data. In case of Supreme Court, the vacancy is 3%. In case of High Court, the vacancy is 33%. And in case of District and Subordinate Court, the vacancy is 20.5%. So it means there is one factor here also. There is one factor which is responsible here also, that how many judges which we are having. First of all, we have seen that this one part, that we already have lower sanction strength. The sanction strength is also on the lower side. And what we see that furthermore, there is more and more vacancy. So there is one part, like it's not that judiciary is delaying most of the cases. You will find that most of the cases are being solved within a stipulated time. So now we have to consider this other part. No, here we are talking just about the courts. Here we are talking just about the courts, not the tribunals. Tribunals are different. Okay. Now see this one part. Okay. About this judges in number. See, in case of High Court, it is around 1122. In case of this lower court, that number is something like it varies state by state. It is done by the state government. This lower judiciary is not directly under the control of union government or any other thing. It is under the state government. The state government is taking the exam also. They are filling the seats also. So that is under the control of state government. Now here what we see, that what is the reason behind pendency? Reason behind pendency. One of the factors which is responsible for the pendency of cases, one of the factors is the vacancy and lower strength. Lower strength. Right, for entire India, we have around 1122 sanction posts. This is the sanction post. Around like 378 or 391, around 391 are like vacant there. Around 391 posts are vacant over there. Okay. So this 33% is almost like 391. Okay. It varies also from time to time. It varies a little bit. So around 33% is pending. Now what we see, that there is one part which is vacancy and this lower strength. But there are other portions also. Why there is a pendency in the courts? There is one factor, that what we see, that there is investigation delay. Investigation delay. In many a case, there is a delay in the investigation by the police or by the administration, and as a result of that, we see that the cases become pending. Third part is limited use of technology. Limited use of technology. Although many of the courts have been now providing this use of electronic means for transferring the information, but there was a time when if a case diary has to be transferred from one office to other office, that also used to take a lot of time. The case diary, it has to be transferred between the different departments, from police to court and other places. So case diary and other the other important documents which have to be moved through the system, it used to take a lot of time. So that is also one thing. There has been a limited use of technology. Gradually over the time, now many more courts are accepting this. And especially after the COVID time, now there is more and more digitization. So this is one part. Then what we also see, that many a times there are plethora of fake cases. There is also plethora of fake cases which are filed, and it is one of the tactics which is used by the advocates. Okay. So there is also plethora of fake cases. Like it is one of the techniques which is used by the advocates also. Like suppose if they have to challenge someone and they know that their case may not be very much strong, so they file different cases. They file different cases against the same person, so that they can economically, financially, and mentally drain that person, which can help them in the case. So there is plethora of fake cases also. Many a times it is by administration also. Many a time it is done by the advocates also. So that is also one of the reason behind this. Okay. Then the fifth part is, there is one thing which is also missing, which is training of the judges for quick and effective decision making. Yeah. There is lack of training of judges for quick and effective disposal of cases. So that is also one part. Okay. That there must be a quick and effective. Okay. So this is one part. Okay. Okay. This is one part why we are having pendency of cases in case of India. Despite advanced technology and intelligence system, why are serious cases like Kolkata doctor case still not solved quickly in India? See, there is one part that of course we have got all the technology and everything, but the legal system which we have established, it has to go through multiple checks and all. It has to go through multiple checks and all, and everyone who is accused of a crime has to be provided a considerable opportunity to prove himself or herself not guilty. Okay. So there is this legal process, the legal system which goes on, and we also see that in the meanwhile many of these accused people are also there in jail. Okay. So it's not that like they are given immediate relief, but yes, they are given this opportunity to prove that if they are innocent, they must have this opportunity to prove themselves. Okay. So this is one part why the legal system has been made in this manner. Because if we go for quick decision making, it may also be wrong. It may also become wrong. And the judicial system works on this basis, that even if 100 culprits are not given punishment, one innocent should not be given the punishment. The judicial system works on this basis. So that's why the process which we are following is having some, it is something which is time taking. So this is one part, like why there is a delay. Now the thing is, like, what is the solution? What is the solution for this? What is the solution for this? First thing, what we see that it's not more about the efficiency of the courts, because if the courts are solving 70% cases within 1 year, it means they are working on a very efficient manner. Some like high courts are solving it with like 85% cases within 1 year. And even if we talk about this, within 5 years, 90% of cases are being solved. So what we need to do, we need to increase the sanction strength of the judiciary. We need to work on this part, that we need to increase the sanction strength of judiciary. That is one of the prime requirement. Second thing is, like recently what we have seen that with the passing of Bharatiya Nyaya Sanhita, Bharatiya Nagrik Suraksha Sanhita and Bharatiya Sakshi Adhiniyam, now we see that many things have been allowed now. Many new things have been allowed now, that now the digital evidences can also be used. The forensics related things have also been changed. So what we see that with implementation of this Bharatiya Nagrik Suraksha Sanhita and Bharatiya Sakshya Adhiniyam, we might find this one part that solving cases will become much more quicker as compared to the past. Okay. So this implementation, the implementation of Bharatiya Nagrik Suraksha Sanhita and Bharatiya Sakshya Adhiniyam will provide boost, quick solution, quick solving of cases. So earlier many of these things were not acceptable. Like earlier the messages, the electronic messages were not acceptable, or electronic proofs were not acceptable. So now we are seeing that there is a change in that process also. There is a change in that process as well. So this is one part. At the same time, we need to have training. This has to be provided to investigation officers, plus we also need to provide the same thing to judges also for quick decision making, quick and effective decision making. We also are undergoing this digitization, like the e-court initiative. The e-court initiative is also the right approach in that direction. We are going for e-courts also, which can help in solving the cases on a quicker basis. Okay. Then on the other part, we also need to provide arbitration option for civil cases. We need to provide the arbitration option for the civil cases. Okay. Civil cases requires arbitration and conciliation. Like suppose if two parties are having dispute, rather than going through the part of judiciary, they can come together with the help of an arbitrator and they can try to find the solution. So when many of the civil cases are pending, there can be a solution for that with the help of arbitrators also. Where they can try to find a middle way, a middle solution, a middle path for both of the parties. So this is one part how it can be done. Okay. Yes, Lok Adalat is one such example. We have the example of Lok Adalat. Okay. So this is also one of the example how we can solve it. So this is one thing, like why there are so, or what is the range of pending of cases, and at the same time, like how many, what are the factors responsible behind it, plus at the same time, like what can be the solution. Yes, we can promote Gram Nyayalayas also. Gram Nyayalayas can also be promoted, which can help in like addressing these cases at local level as well. So these all things can be done in order to reduce the pendency of cases. So next time when you are writing this one part, that there are so many cases pending in judiciary, now you have a better analysis of this part. Okay, now you have a better analysis of this part, that it is not just about the cases. If we just look at that number, that we have 5.3 crore cases pending in India, so that is giving just one side of a story. The other side of a story is this, that the judiciary from lower level to the higher levels are able to solve 70 to 85% of cases within 1 year. So that is also one side of the story, that it is not only about number. If we are having the number, it means we are having that many new cases within a particular year. Like suppose that if 5 crore cases are there in India, if over the next 1 year, there is no new filing of cases, then what we will see? This number will reduce directly to 1 or 1.5 crore. But we see that every year new cases are also coming up. Okay. So that is one of the part of the story. Okay. That why we are having, like, just to give you one simple idea, At the pre-litigation level, we have 22.2 crore cases. The ones which have not reached the court, they are under the pre-litigation stage. So you can try to understand how much burden may be created. They are at the pre-litigation stage. Okay. They are at the pre-litigation stage. So if they come here, this number, you can imagine how much high it is going to be there. Okay. So this is one part. These are the cases at the pre-litigation level. Okay. So this is one part, like इतने सारे pending cases solve होगा कि नहीं? Of course they will be solved. Some will be solved within 1 year, some within 1 to 5 years. Pre-litigation means they have not reached the court yet, but there is a dispute which is existing. They have not reached the court yet, means there is no trial which is going on. But they are at a stage where there is a dispute. So that pre-litigation stage dispute is also being solved in the cases in the Lok Adalats. Okay. Litigation where the court case starts. That is the litigation stage, where the court is accepting it and the court case is the start. Now, coming to the next part, slum clusters and the flood prone areas. Okay. So see this one part. Okay. Now you know that this is the time of monsoon, and monsoon is one such season which unites, which provides the unity in the country. Okay. Like if we talk about monsoon, this also ensures the unity in the country. How do we have that unity? Can you tell me, how does the monsoon unites the country? Any idea? How does the monsoon unites the country? Yes, of course, like the ineffectiveness in the investigation is also one of the reasons. Ineffectiveness in the forensic analysis of the investigation process, that is one of the main factors which is responsible. We have written that also, that lack of investigation, lack of proper investigation, that is also responsible for it. So can you tell me, how does the monsoon unites the country? Any idea about this? Agriculture level. Okay. So this also provides the unity. Like suppose we are having Mumbai slums. Okay. Or let's say we have the slums of Delhi. Or I think you recognize this area. This is not even like the slums. Okay. So this is one such area which is in the heart of the capital city of Patna. Okay. And this is one such part, like apart from the culture, apart from the agriculture, apart from the festivals and each and everything which is related to monsoon, we have another thing which is related to monsoon, and that is the urban flooding. That is the urban flooding. This urban flooding is common from the so-called Silicon City of Bangalore. It is called as the Silicon City of India, Silicon Valley of India. So area which is famous for its technology and all has been facing waterlogging in urban areas for quite some time. Mumbai, Pune, which is called as the finance capital, Mumbai, which is called as the finance capital of India, is also facing these urban floods. Pune and other cities, they are also facing this. At the same time, you know about the situation in Delhi. That in Delhi also, with 1 hour of rainfall, major areas of Delhi are facing this urban flooding or waterlogging. Then it goes across the country, even on the eastern side from Assam to Patna to other areas, we are having constant waterlogging. So this is one such thing which unites the country from north to south, west to east, irrespective of what language, what things you speak, what clothes you wear. There is one problem which unites the country during the monsoon, and that is the urban flooding. Yeah, that is the urban flooding. In the Millennium City of Gurgaon, if there is a rainfall of 1 hour, then Uber suddenly starts providing its Uber boat services. Of course, cab will not be running in water, so they start providing the Uber boat services. It can also be launched there in parts of Bangalore or parts of Mumbai, and permanently there in Delhi. Okay. So this is one thing. Okay. That these are the areas which are constantly getting the flood. Okay. They are constantly getting the flood or waterlogging in every rainfall. This is the same picture which repeats year after year across the nation. Okay. Now what we see that there is a report, and the report is saying that more than 2.3 billion people are exposed to flooding every year globally. What we see that globally around 2.3 billion people, they are exposed to flooding every year. And in India, around 600 million people are at risk of coastal or inland flooding. 600 million people. This is also the same number of people who are having water stress in the country as per Niti Aayog. Okay. So 600 million are having this risk of flooding, and 600 million people are also at risk of water stress as per the Niti Aayog's report as well. Okay. So on one hand, there is a risk of flooding. On the other hand, there is also a risk of water stress. Okay. So this is one part. Okay. India is also having the largest number of slum dwellers living in vulnerable settlements in floodplains. Okay. So we have got around 158 million people in India, those who are living in flood-prone delta of the Ganga river. You may have seen multiple images coming from various parts of the country that the entire village is being washed off. The entire village is being washed off. Many of the houses are collapsing. There is loss of life and property. So we see that this is one part which we are seeing year after year. Generally, you find that there is, from time to time, there are certain disasters such as landslides, disasters such as glacial lake outburst flood. Now, these one disasters causes death of some 100 people. But if you count this one part, that how many people are losing their life either due to water logging or flooding or related incidents, you will find that the number is much more higher. The loss of property due to waterlogging or flooding is much more higher than landslides or other disasters. In fact, you will find that it is one of the major problems across India. So this is one part. Now the thing is what we see here, that in case of the global, if we compare the global thing, what we see that India is coming here at the first. The people who are in high risk zone, India has the highest number. India has the highest number. But the thing is, why? Like, why the people are living or risking their life in flood prone areas? Why they are living in a risk prone areas or vulnerable zones? What is the factors which inspire them? They are not part of like Khatro Ke Khiladi web series. So why they are like becoming this? Why they are going in these vulnerable areas? Why they are having houses over there? So why it is that people are settling in flood prone areas? Why there is growth of slums in the cities of India? So what is the reason? Why people are settling in slums? Why people are settling in flood prone areas? What is the reason? Why they are going there? Do they have challenge with respect to lack of job opportunity? In native place? Lack of job opportunities in native place? Then at the same time, financial constraints. Financial constraints. We have got mega cities where there is multiple job options. We have got mega cities having multiple job option, but there is a lack of rent control. There is a lack of rent control. There is a lack of viable housing options. There is a lack of viable housing options. There is a lack of rent control. And as a result of that, people are forced to go into those areas which are prone to floods or which are not suitable for human settlements. Okay. So financial constraint is one of the main factors. We have got enormous population and at the same time huge disparity in the income and wealth. So some people are having acres of land in areas which are suitable for housing, whereas other people cannot even afford to have a 1 BHK or 2 BHK house in those areas. Okay. So there is a financial constraint. There is lack of viable housing options. Housing options. Many of the slums are existing. Many of the slums are existing because many of these people have been displaced from their native areas. You may have seen that due to flooding, like villages have been wiped. There are multiple villages which have been wiped from their original place. So what do you think? Where would those people go? Their entire asset, their entire wealth is gone. So now what about them? Where they are going to live? Where they are going to make their houses? What other alternatives do they have? Do they have option to purchase the land again and construct their home? Where they would migrate to? They might start migrating towards some urban areas. They might start building some slums over there, and ultimately there is going to be the growth of slums. Okay. So this is also one part. What we see here, that displacement due to disasters. Displacement due to disasters. That is also pushing the people away from their native areas and going to settle in flood prone, vulnerable or slums. Okay. So that is also one part. It is very easy to say this one part, that people are coming and settling in the slums. They are building their houses on the government property. The thing is, a large number of people in India are landless. So it is the challenge. It is the challenge with the land reform policy of the government, that after 75 years, we have not been able to provide land to all the people or housing option to all the people, a viable housing option. Housing is a basic necessity. It is a basic necessity. So that is also something which is missing here. So that's why people are living in these areas, and that's why they become vulnerable to floods. So this is one part, what is the response from the administration from time to time? They come and they simply destroy the slums. If you destroy the slums from one place, it will give rise to slums in other areas. the best option is to rehabilitate them in a viable and a better housing option. So that is also something where the government needs to work upon. So this is the second part. This is the second news with respect to the flooding. The highest number of slum cluster in flood prone areas. India is having like the highest number of slum clusters in flood prone areas. That is the second article. Now coming to the third part. Now coming to this third part, special public security bill. So it is from Maharashtra government. Okay. Maharashtra government has come with this one, like Maharashtra legislature, it has passed this one thing, special public security bill. Okay. So this is one thing. Way forward, you can write this one part. कल आपने चोला डायनेस्टी के बारे में बताया था, इतना टाइम हो गया, उनके बनाए टेम्पल अभी भी हैं. See, there is this one part, like in our country, yes, of course, we can have construction like that, but that type of construction requires skill, requires money, and what we see that for that you need money with the people. If we compare the Chola dynasty, see this one part, how many ordinary homes have survived, or any dynasty. It is not about Chola dynasty or Pallav dynasty or the Mughal empire or any such empire. How many ordinary homes have survived from that period of time? How many ordinary structures have survived? There are some prominent structures created by the state or the king which has survived. So this is one part, that if people have that much resource, they can of course build that structures. But the thing is, in case of India, people are not having that money to even have a pillar based construction. If you look at this region of Yamuna river, you will find that Taj Mahal has been built on a platform which is having wood logs. Inside the Taj Mahal, there is presence of wood logs. If you see the history of Taj Mahal, how it has been constructed, you will find that there is presence of wood logs at the platform, at the bottom. And on those wood logs, the Taj Mahal platform has been built. So initially it was even a floating like structure. It was not floating, but it was having water from inside. The wooden logs which were there, they were receiving the water, they used to become much more swollen, and they were providing that strength to Taj Mahal. But only Taj Mahal has survived. The nearby areas or the nearby structures or houses, they have not survived. That is also one part. So that is also like, this is one side of the story, that the buildings which we have created at that time, it was very strong. Of course, some buildings are quite strong. But in the Mughal Empire, there were not only 20 buildings or 100 buildings. There were thousands and lakhs of buildings. Only 20 or 30 of them have survived. Or for any dynasty, for Chola dynasty or for any temples, only some have survived. What about the others? It is all about the money, the investment. If you have the investment in the present time also, if we have the right investment in the present times also, we can construct those houses which can even tolerate 8 or 9, like up to 8 magnitude of earthquake as well. But the thing is that money should be available. Okay. Now, coming to this one topic, special public security bill. So Maharashtra legislature has passed this one thing. Basically, it has been seen as a move to curtail. Okay. This has been seen as a move to curtail urban Naxalists. Okay. So it has been popularly called as a move to curtail urban Naxals. So as per some portions of society, as per some part of society, there is one thing called as urban Naxals. So urban Naxals have been defined simply in common words. There is no official definition. The government of India doesn't recognize this. But there is one accepted definition that urban Naxals are those sympathizers. They are the sympathizers and the helping hands of the Naxal groups, okay, or the extremist groups. So they are basically sympathizers or helpers of Naxals or extremist groups. The government of India doesn't recognize this one part, like that we have this urban Naxals in the country. The government of India doesn't recognize that. Okay. But yes, this has been popularly seen. This has been popularly seen as a method of controlling the urban Naxal. Okay. So what is the what is the provisions of this bill? Let us try to see that. You don't have to note it down. You have to just understand this part. So see, what are the provisions of this bill? Okay. Like first see this one part. Maharashtra is the fifth state after Chhattisgarh, Telangana, Andhra Pradesh and Odisha, which is having this Public Safety Act or Public Security Act for effective prevention of unlawful activities of these organizations. So Maharashtra is not the first. It is among those 5 states which has a law with respect to this. Okay. Now what we see that in case of Maharashtra, it says that any such activity by an individual or organization can be unlawful if there is an action or a speech which constitute danger to the public order, incites violence, disrupt communication, or encourages disobedience to established law and its institution. See this one part. Encourages disobedience to established law and its institutions. Okay. So if there is someone who is creating or encouraging disobedience to a particular institution of government, then also they can be declared as guilty under this bill. Okay. So that will be unlawful. And here the action means everything. Action here means everything. All the forms of expression, whether someone is making a cartoon or they are making a comedy act or they are making a sign, they are expressing by any means, any speech, any such comedy or any such like song, any such poetry, any such image, any such drawing, any such a sketch, all these things will come under this part. Each and everything will come under this part. So that is one thing which has been given or provided under this act. Okay. Now, come to this part. The state government also has this power that they can designate an organization as unlawful for engaging in unlawful activities. Means the entire organization may be declared illegal. Okay. The entire organization can be declared illegal. Government can also take the possession of property and even fund of such organization. Government can take control of all the properties and the fund of that organization. At the same time, it is also creating an advisory board. This advisory board is going to designate an organization as unlawful. So it will not be done via the judiciary. It is not going to be done via the judiciary. It is going to be done like the decision under this law is going to be taken by an advisory body which is created by the executive itself. So here what we will see that the executive is also like framing the law, the legislature is passing it, and the executive has also become the judiciary in this case. That executive will have an advisory board which can designate an office or an organization as unlawful. Okay. So that is also one part of it. Then bill does not require judicial oversight. Okay. Like they don't require the judicial oversight. There is no requirement of judicial interference. Okay. Like suppose that, for example, if a person, okay, offenses under the bill includes being a member. Like suppose that if a organization is there, and it has been declared like illegal, if an organization has been declared illegal, so if a person is a member of that organization, he will also be guilty. Okay. If a person is attending its activities, promoting its meeting or managing its affairs, so then they will also be considered as guilty. So then at the same time, like even contributing or soliciting contribution as a non-member will also be punishable. So if someone is supporting an organization, so that also will be illegal. That is also going to be illegal under this law. Okay. So yes. So this is one part, like the legislature of Maharashtra has passed this law. Once it receives the assent of the governor of the state, then it is going to become the law. Okay. So this is one part, like what will be the situation under this law? There is no such use of court. Advisory board will itself decide. Okay. Now some people are opposing it. I don't know why some people are opposing it. There are a number of people who are opposing it. Why they are opposing? They are saying that it is going to provide the government to allow suppression of fact in public interest. Some people are saying that it is going to allow the government to suppress the fact in the public interest. Why would government do that? Okay. Second thing, it allows the government to extend ban on any organization without any limit on the duration. Okay. That government can ban any organization without any limit on the duration. At the same time, it can criminalize regular opposition under ambiguous definition of illegal activity. Okay. Then what we also see that it excludes the lower court from jurisdiction. Okay. The law has, like this particular law, it has been framed in such a manner that if you curtail the power of High Court or Supreme Court, they will take immediate action. So if you curtail the power of High Court or Supreme Court, they will take immediate action. So now this law has beautifully only excluded the lower judiciary from this process. Now see, some people who are quite powerful, of course, they will be approaching the High Court. But those who are on the, like, on that, not at part of that privileged section, reaching to the High Court may become a challenge for them. Many people may not reach to the High Court because the cost of litigation is quite higher. So this is one part. Okay. It is also providing full protection to state officials acting in good faith. You know, we have another act for this. In case of APSPA also, Armed Forces Special Power Act. So in sensitive areas, we also provide that option. So it is sort of like giving the same power under the ordinary law also. APSPA is applied only when the situation becomes very much sensitive. But this same law and ordinary law is also providing the same option, that it is providing protection to state officials acting in good faith. What is good faith? How it is going to be defined? Then it creates grounds for ideologically motivated action against opposition group, activists and movement. So this is like some of the like people, some of the section of society is opposing this bill. So we have seen the both side of the story. Okay. We have seen the both side of the story. We have seen that what is the law saying? What is the law saying as per PRS? As per the PRS. So it is not from newspaper, so it is the most authentic. It is the most authentic, not from any mixture of things. PRS gives the exact version of the law. Okay. So here we have seen the parts of the law as per PRS, and second we have seen that why it is being opposed also. So we have seen this both side of a story, that what are the provisions of bill and what is the opposition to it. It is not that they will be asking question on mains directly from this question, but it gives you an understanding. It gives you understanding. You can use this as an example that how governments have been forming different laws which goes against the several provisions of constitution. How will the executive decide what is how will the executive decide that who is guilty and who is not under the law? Executive has the power to enforce the law. If there is someone guilty, they have to go to the court to decide whether the person is actually guilty or not. So here we have seen that the executive has been given power to decide whether it is unlawful or not. That is one part. Okay. See, it is not about any person. Okay. It is not about any person or any group. Even if a group is wrong, you cannot make a bad law for that. Okay. Even if an organization is wrong, in democracy, there is one thing which is being said, that I detest what you say, but I will still defend your right to say so. So if a party, if any such organization or party is doing something wrong, there are so many provisions, there are so many laws which can easily be used, to curtail that organization or to take action against those organizations. There is no such lack of law or provisions in India which cannot be used against any organization which is fueling hatred in the society. We have got plenty of laws for that. So making a law just for this purpose, that we are going to target one group or other, it will set a bad precedent. It will set a bad precedent, and that is going to create many problems in the later stage. So that is one part. Now coming to this another section. The next part, Nisar launch. Yeah. That is why I have said this, Manisha, that making a law or making a bad law just because one organization or other organization is doing something bad is the worst thing. Making a bad law for controlling something bad is the worst thing. You already have a plenty of laws which you can use. So that is one part. Now coming to this part, Nisar launch. Okay. Now what we see that this is something which is going to be launched tomorrow. Nisar is one such program. ISRO and NASA are collaborating. So I have already told you about this. So tell me, what is going to be used in this case? What launch vehicle is going to be used? Plus, what will be the main work of this? So I am taking this one thing just for asking from you. We are not discussing this part. We are just seeing this one thing. It is going to be launched tomorrow. That is 30th of July. 30th of July. It is going to be launched tomorrow. So which vehicle is going to be used and what will be its main task? Study sun environment. It's not sun environment. What is the purpose here? Monsoon, monitoring of glaciers, each and every part. Okay. GSLV F-16, yes, correct. GSLV F-16 is going to be used in this case. It is going to monitor even the movement of all these things. For example, if we are having glaciers melting and all, so that is also going to be examined. Okay. Yes, we are having weekly answer writing in that. To study land and ice deformation and everything. So this is one such satellite which is going to be launched tomorrow, and once it is being launched, then we will see that what and where it has been placed, what technologies have been used in this. So we will see that once it has been done. Okay. So this is one thing, keep an eye on it. One more thing which you can see here, China is offering subsidy. China is offering subsidy to boost the birth rate. You may know about this one part, that China was earlier having this one child policy. Now what we see that it is having a changing demography. Majority of its population has become old, and what we also see that its population is going to decline. Right now its population is 1.4 billion, and it is going to decline to 800 million by the end of this century. 800 million by 2100. So its population is declining, and at the same time we are also seeing this one part, its population is becoming old. So in order to revive its population, it is providing a subsidy. Subsidy is up to like $500. Okay. $500 per child. So that is the subsidy which is being provided by China in order to boost its population growth rate. Okay. The 500 rupees per child is being provided to the parents, not to the child. It is going to be provided to the parents, of course. Okay. So this is one thing, they are providing the subsidy to the parents for having children. Think about this, if they give the same subsidy, in some of the states of India, if they start giving the same subsidy in some of the states of India and start giving the citizenship, so they can get quick result. So they need to perhaps outsource this subsidy. They can outsource this to certain areas from where like this is one part, like they can outsource. In many countries we have this one thing called outsourcing of the job. So this outsourcing can also be done. This is also one part which can be outsourced. Okay. So that is one part. There is one more very interesting news. Unclaimed deposits. There are about 67,000 crore. 67,000 crore rupees which are unclaimed deposits in the banks of India. This much money is unclaimed. Means no one is claiming this money and it is deposited in the banks. Okay. Now what we see that like in this case, our favorite bank is having like rupees 19,329 crore. So our favorite bank is having 19,329 crore of unclaimed deposits. Okay. So no one is taking that money. So if you want to claim that money, contact with the bank. Okay. This much money is lying idle in the banks. If your money is left somewhere, if you have forgotten about it, that you have deposited some money in the banks of India, then you can claim. Perhaps they might have called you to come after lunch so many times that you may have said that let's forget about this money. So that is one of the reason which I can understand here. People may have been told so many times that you have to come after lunch, that people may have left their money over there and they would have said, let's leave this money. It is costing me more to come after the lunch than taking this money. Okay. So contact the bank, how to claim this unclaimed deposits, and then if you get something, tell me also about it. So thank you so much. We will meet tomorrow and then we will discuss the remaining topics. We will see the new current affairs in tomorrow's session. Till then, take care. All the best. Thank you.